Hey there, Physics 2211. My name's Nick, and this is my roommate, Little G. Now, before I launch into the lab, for your grading ease, please note that the timestamps of exactly when I fulfill all items on the rubric are in the description below. This week, the objective is to determine the mass of a black hole, given a list of position data for an orbiting star. The Python model works on the same principles as that in Lab 6, but with different initial conditions. Now, the star's mass, initial position, and time step are given. The initial velocity can be derived from the first two positions and the time step, and the initial momentum by multiplying by mass. The initial position of the black hole is also given in the problem, and this mass is left to us to solve for. Now, in each iteration of the loop, the gravitational force is calculated for the system in accordance with Newton's law of gravitation. The distance vector, r, is the difference in the positions of the black hole and the star. The gravitational constant is, well, constant, as are the masses. Thus, the gravitational force can be updated. Because the gravitational force is the only force acting on the star, the net force is also the gravitational force. Using the momentum principle, the p vector is updated, which, in turn, is used to update position. To better illustrate the situation, the net force was further broken up into parallel and perpendicular parts with respect to momentum. The parallel force is found by projecting the force vector onto the momentum vector using the dot product. The perpendicular force is the difference between the net force and the parallel component of the net force. These three forces are illustrated with arrows. Now, as a brief side note, the momentum principle teaches us that the net force, as well as its parallel and perpendicular components, are mathematically equivalent to the change in momentum over time and its respective aspects. The net forces cause this change in momentum through time. To find the mass of the black hole, begin by estimating. In the last lab, the mass of the black hole was given to be 10 times the mass of the star. So this is the value I began with. Then, depending upon how far around the orbit that mass took the star before the total time was over relative to the first value given in the data, I adjusted the mass of the black hole until the correct final value was received. For my data, that value was 1.15623 times 10 to the 31st kilograms. But what if the black hole was replaced by a different black hole at the same location and the motion of the observed star remains unchanged? Well, barring any other relevant forces, could you tell the difference? To answer this question, we have to look at what the gravitational force is dependent upon. The variables in Newton's law of gravitation are the gravitational constant and the masses and the positions of the star and black hole. Now, if every aspect of the gravitational force remains the same in our hypothetical situation, then it will be impossible to tell the difference. Well, Newton's gravitational constant won't change, the mass of the star doesn't change, and we just said that its position doesn't change. Also just said that the mass of the position of the black hole doesn't change. So, nothing. There's no way to tell the difference between black holes. Thanks for watching.
Eat pops.